What do riddles and organic chemistry have in common? I argue that in organic chemistry that there are two types of problem. So we'll just call them type 1 and type 2. And so I'm going to use riddles to illustrate the differences. So we'll start with this first one. This thing all things devours, birds, beasts, trees, flowers. Gnaws iron, bites steel, grinds hard stones to meal, slays kings, ruins towns, and beats high mountains down. What am I? Give you a second to think about it. You can pause the video and come back. The answer is time. So let's go through this. This thing all things devours. Time devours all things. Birds, beasts, trees, flowers. Gnaws iron, so enough time iron turns into rust. With enough time steel turns into rust. Grinds hard stones to meal. So it takes stones and turns them into pebbles, smaller stones. And then slays kings, ruins towns, and beats high mountains down. Time is the answer. So maybe if you looked at this enough, you would have been able to figure it out, right? So type 1 is problems that with enough understanding, you might be able to figure out. Now, let's take a look at the second type. So here's another riddle. Food lets me live, water makes me die, I wrap around you and help you stay alive. A letter sounds like a much bigger me. I'm always down and stepped on by all of humanity. What are we? Give you a second to think about it. You can pause the video and come back. The answer is the elements. So let's see how that is. Food lets me live, water makes me die. So fire, if I feed fire wood, it lives. If I give it water, it dies. I wrap around you and help you stay alive. Air, think about air. It wraps around us and I need it to breathe, so it helps me stay alive. A letter sounds like a much bigger me, so that's the letter C. Sounds like C, which is a form of water. And lastly, I'm always down and stepped on by all of humanity. So that's Earth, right? So the elements. Now, this is a problem that was tough from the beginning. It's a trick, and it has really nothing to do with your understanding of the world so much as it does your play on words, letters, so on and so forth, right? So it's something that we need to deconstruct backwards. So type 2 are problems that we need to deconstruct backwards. So these are the ones that are going to be especially challenging, and you'll need explanations for them from a tutor, maybe the answer key, so on and so forth, right? But the great news about these problems is that once you see them, you can't unsee, right? So once you figured this out and made the connection, anytime you'll see something like this, you'll be able to get it. Now, it's important to break down every part of this problem and make the connection, right? So you have to make the connection. Otherwise, if they rearrange it or they reword it, you may not pick it up if you're just memorizing, right? And so you need to look at these problems, deconstruct them backwards, but you have to have a solid understanding of every single part. So if I understood food lets me live, water makes me die, but I didn't understand a letter sounds like a much bigger me, I'm not going to get the total problem, which is the elements. It includes water, fire, air, and earth, right? So you need to know each one of those parts, right? And so again, moving forward, there are going to be those two types of problems, ones that are more challenging that you can't see from the front end, but you can reconstruct and understand from the back end and then have a solid understanding of them, and then problems that you can pretty much figure out if you have a good understanding of things from the beginning.